Welcome back to the GSL Code A. We just saw Creator 2-0 his teammate in very unorthodox games. But next up, we're going to have yet another TVP. It is going to be GanZi against MC. And I've been told that GanZi has developed quite the rivalry with MC. Really wants to beat him today.
I saw a thread recently where GanZi was a little bit upset about the recent changes in the patch, not only about the patches against Zerg, but also against the pros changes in the matchup, in the TVP matchup. And yeah, we had a quick look at the check right now, and you spotted something, didn't you?
Yeah, they were talking about the observer, saying it was 30 seconds and it's not fair. That's what GanZi was saying in the chat.
Yeah, we'll see if he
and MC replied like, no, it has to be like this, is what he said in reply.
Well, we'll see if GanZi can actually take the series or if MC will two-base his way to victory.
Yeah. We'll see. I think this is my prediction. I feel that in the first game, MC will play a macro game against GanZi. The map is Antigua. It's a pretty balanced map for this matchup. I think he'll play a macro game here. If he can control the middle of the map with Storms and Colossi. You hardly ever see MC do this, but I think he can do it against GanZi. Then in the next two games, if there's even a third game, the next two games, MC will do two-base timing attacks, no matter what, in my opinion.
Yeah, even though I just pulled that joke with the two-base, MC is definitely a player that we've seen countless times in the past also go for three bases. But he's kind of known for the style where he just attacks his opponent with the perfect timing and two bases, has the perfect army composition, and just takes advantage from that point on.
I've changed my opinion of MC, to be honest. I actually had a very negative opinion of his play for so long, and only recently have I looked at his play and said, actually, he is more flexible than he shows. I don't think I've talked about this on cast just yet, but very recently I changed my opinion on him. I watched a ton of his non-GSL games, like some of his games at foreign events and some replays I found of him, and I was like, actually, I'm judging him like people judge the best Foyu, where like they saw his GSL games like, oh, he sucks, but actually he's really good. He just gets nervous and like sometimes does all-ins when he's actually in the booth. I feel like MC is the same way, based on what I've actually seen of him now, looking more into this guy's play.
You think he's getting nervous?
I don't think he's getting nervous, but like he just doesn't show.
That is the one Korean that I would say is not getting nervous
not
at all.
getting nervous, but I think what it is he just does not feel as comfortable playing some of the longer games in the booth. We'll find out what styles he's going to use against GanZi here in our first game on Antigua Shipyard. I am Wolf. With me is Caldor. This is the GSL Code A.
And here we go, game number one. We are on Antigua, and to the right side of the map we have our complexity player in the red color. It is the Terran player known as
Complexity GanZi.
He was really struggling lately against Protoss. He didn't have a good time in this matchup. He was losing to a ton of players. But the problem is, or the thing is, that against MC, he has a pretty decent track record. To the left side of the map, we now have the SK player in the blue color. It's the Protoss player, Minko.
SKMC.
And, well, just to give you a little bit of an idea, whereas GanZi was able to take down Xlaf with a 2-0 in the NASL Season 3, which is probably not all that big of a deal considering how much of a great player GanZi is. I don't want to take anything away from Xlaf, but he's just not on the same level. I think even he will agree with me on this one.
Yeah.
But in the other matchups, GanZi was able to, for example, he was taken out by Guinea Pig, he lost against Hawk, he lost against Parting, they lost against Huck again, but against MC he has a really nice structure. The last game that they played was at MLG, and he defeated his Protoss opponent with a 3-0.
Yep.
And we actually just talked to Moldrive, who is here at the studio today as well, and they apparently had a bit of a chat with GanZi, and GanZi is not feeling too well today, but is still pretty confident about his match, just because in the past he was so successful against MC.
Yeah, he feels confident. He really wants to continue the reign against MC. He feels he has a little bit of a rivalry, I would say. Will he block this Pro Scout? The answer is no. MC will get inside. By the way, MC, one of the most successful Korean pro gamers to switch to a foreign team, remains successful. Other notables include Tasia and Hero. As well as, well, I don't know if I put Zenio on the same level as those two players, but there's a few players out there that have managed to switch. For example, GanZi has not been as successful after joining Complexity as he was before, and he seemed to be on a little bit of decline beforehand. GanZi's been on a lot of teams. He was on IM before even joining Slayers, and now has joined Complexity. His military service is coming up soon, so he wants to make the most of his time.
This is definitely a huge problem in Korea, and one of the problems is that you don't only have to go... Well, the military service here is 2 years instead of 1. In Germany, I think right now it's voluntarily, but before that you had to go to military service for 9 months, which is kind of reasonable. But 2 years, that is actually pretty harsh, and it's just... It plays such a huge role in Korea if you actually did military service or not.
Yeah, and as far as it goes with military service in Korea, in most cases, hold that thought, probe trying to scout here again.
Does not see the command center, by the way.
In military service in Korea, if you get breaks, you can go and try to play StarCraft during the breaks, for example, on the weekend. But that's the time that you want to see your family, see a girlfriend, perhaps if you have a girlfriend, you know, that's your free time. So it's very difficult to train while you're in the military. It's practically impossible. And unless you're on the Air Force team that is now switching over to StarCraft II, of course, part of KESPA, that's basically the only way you're going to get practice. Otherwise, you will not.
Right now we have the expansion for both players in this game, and we saw the one gateway expand for MC, who is probably following this up with additional gateways and a robo to make sure that he can get the Observer out in time. And just talk a little bit about the change with the Observer. The change with the Observers allows Protoss players now to get their robotics a little bit later and to focus on other things first, maybe...
additional sentry.
Additional sentry, for example. And it just allows them a little bit more flexibility, and also what Blizzard originally intended with this change just takes away a little bit of the problem that Protoss had when they had to decide, okay, do I want to build Immortals or Colossi, or can I really invest the time, the production time, in my robotics in order to get another Observer out? So this definitely helps Protoss a little bit. What do you think how important these changes actually are in this matchup?
In this matchup, I think it's probably the second biggest. I think the biggest impact, in my opinion, some people will disagree, I think the biggest change is PvP. You can get the Observer out in PvP, get an additional one in a matchup where it's so important to have that robotics build time all game long if you make a robo. But in this matchup, it does make the Observer build time a little bit faster. If you lose your Observer to a scan, it's more easily replaced. You can get the Observer out really fast if you want to, but like you said, the more important thing is that now you can just delay the robo and still get your Observer over to your opponent's base a little bit faster.
And I think we can kind of agree on who is really, really happy about this patch.
Well, of course, the Protoss will be, and
I was actually aiming for parting.
Oh, yeah.
Mister, I have 8 observers on the map. Will he build 10 now?
Well, Creator's probably be happy too, man. He has a tendency to rally his observers to their deaths as well.
Exactly. So now he can build the observers a little bit faster in order to get a suicide ban.
We are going to see a Warp Prism drop. We're going to see sentries drop, force field the ramp, and then he's going to warp in additional units. He's got a forward pylon additionally up here as well. He may do an elevator move, which is something that I feel like only I do. Like, I do this all the time on ladder. If you actually hold position or not hold position, but put into phase mode on the side of a cliff, you can elevator in and then drop out without moving the Warp Prism, and you can just basically lift all of your units and almost instantaneously if you learn the trick how to do it. If MC does something like this, it'll be really cool. I'm not sure that's what he's going to do, but I think he's going to be shut down by GanZi's Marines being in position.
Exactly, they are in position right now, and there's just no way that he can get into position.
Well, now he just can't do anything.
About.
Plus, there's siege tanks coming out for GanZi,
yeah,
which is really, really cool. This is something Marine King has started to do quite a bit in this matchup.
He has not given up on the idea of doing some damage here, though. He's trying to get in a different position.
Whoa! Well, this is terrible. He's going to lose it.
God.
2 sentries and 2 zealots in that dropship.
That was horrible for MC. He lost 750 resources, a lot of it gas. And this is really, really bad. Nice reaction here by GanZi. And as soon as he saw the Warp Prism, he had the units in the right spot already, but he realized, okay, he's not trying to go for the ramp, so I have to make sure that he is not able to get into my mineral line as well. Has the Marines in position, and MC apparently didn't really pay all that much attention to his Warp Prism.
I can't believe that he even went in the second time. If you go into the Warp Prism in this matchup, especially in the later stages, but even in this early stage without Stim, which Stim probably would have been done at this timing, he went for tanks instead though. That's something he found out with the Warp Prism, but either way, if your Warp Prism is ever spotted, you do not go in a second time. You just do not. You come in a second time maybe 5 minutes later, but if you come in 30 seconds later, you think that's going to work, you are actually crazy. MC's a crazy guy.
And he's going for Blink now. He has Blink, he has Immortals, and we see him with a +1 armor upgrade. So
GanZi, by the way, is not going to be making the 3rd command center anytime soon. He's making 3 barracks and will be poised to attack, I think, soon. He's stopped siege tank production. He's actually stopped at just 2. Most players go up to 3 or 4.
And well, MC, if he's actually committing to this attack, then he might just run right into GanZi's arms and right into his army.
Why is MC, after scouting what he's doing, going for this push like this? I think he may actually just poise himself out of his base to buy time to get a third Nexus up, but if he actually attacks into this, I will be speechless. He's just gonna go for a blink.
He's trying to harass a little bit with a blink harass and take down a supply depot. Maybe blink in when if he sees an opening.
Okay, that's fine. I thought I saw Immortals rolling across the map. I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense.
No, we can actually spot this.
Yeah, this is
dropship
actually
with the
really
pylon,
nice.
and
He will blink, kill it.
Nice.
Very, very big wins here for MC. Drop gonna trade okay with these Stalkers, but not the best trade.
Only lost one Stalker, so that's okay for MC. He's still a little bit behind at this point, as we already pointed out. We have a +2/+2 already coming up for GanZi, by the way. And he's making sure that he has a couple of missile turrets in position, whereas MC is just about to be halfway done with his charge upgrade. He really needs to rely on charge at this point. We have no transition into Colossi. He does not really have a lot of area of effect damage. Templar Archive is done, but he did not start his Storm yet.
Nope, no Storm. He's adding some Templar in here, potentially for drop defense. I think, yeah, he's going to leave him in his main base. This is a funny spot that we're in. Neither player feeling comfortable to take a third.
There it is.
Yep, there it is indeed. And these Stalkers will not see it. The Observer, I don't believe, has seen it either. Nope, he's not seen it. But basically, with this pressure, he's trying to make his opponent scared. GanZi has started Reaper production here. He's making one Reaper right now. Probably just going to be for a little bit of a scout. Check around for pylons potentially on the map. Observer does get taken out by a scan here. Storm is coming up very quickly for MC. This is a play that very few Pro players have adopted off the 2-base. Only Oz, the player I can think of who gets Storm on 2 bases successfully, then secures the third after it.
The composition that is being used by MC at this point relies heavily on Zealots with charge, and he's getting the upgrades. That's basically what he's using his gas for. He's using gas for the +2 armor upgrade right now. He's using it obviously for another Warp Prison, the Storm, the High Templars, all this stuff that he needs, and he does not have enough to actually commit to Colossus as well. So that's why he has 21 Zealots right now, getting rid of those minerals, and Zealots are actually pretty good to push back a Terran player. But with the really huge force that GanZi has right now, he's starting to move out while taking his third, and he's at 170 70 supply already on 2-2, while MC is on 1-0 if I'm not mistaken. And here we go with the first engagement. The force field immediately being dropped, trapping a few Marines, but he's not engaging as he realizes there's just too much backup.
Yeah, there's way too much backup. The Zealot's charging forward. Got to be careful about that. He only has one Templar in the mix. It has enough energy for a Storm, but this is suicide. I cannot believe he thinks this is the right choice.
He's actually committing to this right now, and GanZi is eating another Storm, and 2 needs to be really careful against the area damage. But it's, yeah, you're perfectly right, it's just too much. Even with another good Storm, there are not enough units for MC. He's losing units left and right. He's taking a third.
He didn't even micro his Bioforce.
And he is so far behind in upgrades. He is on 2 armor upgrades against 2-2. Is taking a third now, and this third command center is going to... I don't think he's able to hold this.
No, I don't think so.
How many Templars has he? He has 3, but do they have enough energy for
One
Storms?
does.
One a Storm, and that's about it. It dies immediately. And now the probes are being picked off.
The probes were transferred at the worst possible moment. GanZi not wasting any time. He's actually going to engage the perfect position. The Zealots not even able to get around their pylons. A few Storms are now available. And
they
GanZi
do some
splits
damage.
against them.
They do some damage, granted, but it's not enough. Exactly.
GG.
GG by MC. GanZi takes game 1.
MC being very aggressive on 2 bases against a composition that was consistently stronger than his, losing the Warp Prism, losing his big army in the middle of the map. Control the center, okay, that's fine. Control the center with Storms and charge Zealots where your opponent doesn't feel comfortable moving up. Move down the ramp against a player who has 2 siege tanks and better upgrades than you. If you have 1 Storm with that initial fight, no, that doesn't make sense. MC, I feel, misjudged his opponent's army. If his opponent's army were a little bit smaller, it would have made sense. So maybe he just was not very aware of his opponent's army size. It's kind of a mystery as to why he made that choice to attack there.
GanZi, on the other hand, played really great. He was always in position when his opponent tried to attack. I think the only thing that he lost was about 2 supply depots to the harass with the Blink Stalkers. That's all that happened. He took out the Observers. He was able to really upgrade his units ridiculously fast, got +2/+2, while MC was only on +2 armor. And at this point, the army was just way too good for GanZi, and MC had no chance at all.
Yeah, he just attacked incorrectly. If he had pulled back after the... Because GanZi would have controlled the center no matter what. He could have bought time with Storms and then pulled back. If he pulls back, has more Storms available, and has that bio army in a position where he can use reinforcements, he has the Storms on the high ground, he has the position that is third. If he has all those things, GanZi has to pull back. We go into a longer game where GanZi didn't have that third command center up as early as he wanted to. MC's got the Nexus up, he's got good tech, he's got +2 or +3 armor on the way. It's okay, but in the end, lost that army. GanZi looks like he needs to get some more sleep right now. Or maybe that game was a little bit boring for him.
Oh, well, as mentioned, he apparently doesn't feel too good, so I'm not quite sure how sick he is, but he was not...
MC's asking him if he had a third base. GanZi said, yeah, I had one.
Well, he had a third command center.
He said some rude words to him and then talked about his marauders in the chat there, but GanZi looks unfazed. We'll see if GanZi can take the second game and 2-0 MC here. Our second map is in Tomb Valley. It's the GSL Code with Powder and Wolf.